So I love this palette, boho, and I especially love this board because this beautiful lady right there is actually a Moxie bride named Miranda. So boho was a little bit tricky to do, just like wildflower, because boho isn't really a color palette. It's more of a feeling. So typically you see a lot of asymmetrical designs, you see macrame, you see campers, geometric shapes. And so it's more of a vibe and an aesthetic rather than very specific flowers or very specific color palettes. So if we jump over to Pinterest, and when I would search for it on Pinterest, I saw so many different visual representations of color palettes. So I had to pick one. But the one that I loved the most and the one that I designed the package around was a bit of a combination, but I really loved this wedding or this shoot. I loved the introduction of lavenders as well as peaches, and then we came in with some brighter colors as well. But a lot of times you see a very heavy base of greenery with boho. You see this olive branch, you see eucalyptus. I often see folks introduce protea, like the king and queen protea, and I didn't do that on the packages because one is very like person specific. People either love them or they don't. They tend to be a little bit pricey and they're kind of heavy. So I felt like if you want to add that, then you can on your own. So that wasn't built into the package. And you can see what I'm talking about. People get a little bit brighter and call it boho. So that works as well. There's not, set rules when it comes to this theme. It's more of a feeling. But I tend to see like funkier flowers. So you'll see that pin cushion. There's that king protea again. I really loved what they did with the succulents. If you choose to add a succulent or an air plant, I honestly recommend going to Hobby Lobby and getting a faux one to pull in, because getting these guys in fresh, we can sell them and get them for you all day long. But as a florist, they break apart pretty easily. Those little petals are easy to break. So I found the faux ones to look extremely real. So I like how this lady came in and added some pheasant feathers, air plants, a lot of hanging greenery. So podocarpus or this pepperberry would be beautiful. And even with greenery, there's just a really wide range. I love the fern. So it's really hard to pick. Some people see boho as very like deserty and prairie-ish and dusty, and some people see it as really bright and happy. So let's go back and let's look at the product board. So we saw a lot of proteas. Scabiosa, it's a really great texture. Boho has a lot of texture to it. On roses, you can introduce some garden roses, shimmers. Thistle is a must-have. There's that pepperberry. I love the terracotta and the Sahara roses. I think that is a great foundation to build on if you want to be a little bit more neutral with your boho vibe. Okay, let's see what I did in the large package. And before we leave, there is a printable recipe guide. So if you decide to get one of these packages, you can just print out that recipe and pass it out to the people helping you. Okay, so on this boho package, I wanted to give you more of a neutral palette. So we came in heavy with the Sahara roses and lavender scabiosa. So going back to that initial Pinterest picture where they added peaches and lavenders, I did come in with some bright things, so these free spirit roses, but I only did 2 bunches. So not too heavy-handed with those because you don't really need to be. They're so bright and large and in charge. A little bit goes a long way. Sorry. I did give you some funkiness with these yellow pin cushions, not as expensive or heavy as to work with as the king and queen proteas. And then we softened it up with those peach ranunculus. Like we said, thistle is a must-have. We went heavy with all the eucalyptuses. as well as some orange and peaches. Those look like the apricot carnations, but they will be lighter because in the order we actually have the peach, which are a bit lighter. Let's see. So that is about it. Again, just like with all the other packages, you can't swap things out. These are preset. However, you can build your own cart, and it's very easy to do. So just use this as a guide, and as long as the stem counts generally stay the same, then your recipe disbursement will stay the same.